Your friends and family are in denial of who you're actually supposed to be. If you're age 18 to 25, you're not supposed to know who the hell you are. Even until 30 years old, you're still kind of figuring yourself out, trying to get your shit together. But at age 18, you're expected to make the biggest decision of your life, to choose a study, to go to college for the next 4 years, into a workforce that you're supposed to stay for the rest of your life. Tell me how that makes any sense when at that same age you're not even allowed to legally drink. Just please process that. So you know what happens? Because you're not supposed to know who you actually are or what you want to do, you let NPCs around you dictate your life. You let your friends and family become your biggest haters. Yes, listen, our families, they want the best for us. Don't get me wrong. Your parents probably have high expectations of you and they're putting so much pressure on you. But what they're not realizing is that they are destroying who you actually are, who you're supposed to be. If you are doing something right now that you don't want to do, or you're in a work that you're not happy with, or you're studying something and you have no idea why you're in college or university doing this, you need to seriously sit down and self-reflect with yourself and ask yourself, why are you doing this? And if it's not coming from something internal within you, then damn, bro, you have some thinking and decisions to make. And you don't make this decision off like a 2-second reflection. Really think about this and sit with yourself. Really journal. Really ask yourself, where am I going? Where is my life going? And I'll share something personal with you. I personally wasted probably like 8 years of my life because I've let family and friends dictate what kind of life I should have. When I was 18, I let my family indirectly make the decision for me to go into university, into a very tough program called Human Kinetics, just because it had something to do with science or health science. My family is very education minded, which is nothing wrong with that. But they make you think, even from high school, when you pick your academic courses, they make you choose courses that are aligned with chemistry, physics, biology, calculus, math. And there's nothing wrong with that. That opens your doors to many different programs, but it indirectly made me think that I have to do something in university that aligns with this. And guess what? I failed like half my courses the first semester. I wasted a year in university. I wasted like $12,000. I gained so much weight. I stopped playing soccer, which gave me a lot of purpose at the time. That's when my father left, so shit was going downhill. Honestly, now that I look back at it, it was the dumbest decision to let my family and friends choose what I'm supposed to do indirectly. Now, fast forward 8 years later, I think this is the first time that I actually listened to myself. So even after university, I came back and I went to a college program. It was still a bachelor degree, and I got a hospitality degree in hotels and restaurants. I did that for my whole life. My goal was to be a general manager for a hotel making 6 figures, which would probably have taken me like 15 to 20 years to get there. So I spent 6 to 8 years getting a degree and working in the hospitality industry just to realize that I want nothing to do with it. Even though it aligns with my personality, even though it made me who I am, even though it gave me a clear identity of who I was at the time, 10 months ago, it meant nothing to me because when my health was down bad, when my mental health was so bad to the point where I didn't want to do anything, I wanted to procrastinate and indulge in pleasure all day long, I finally came to the conclusion with myself through self-reflection in 2 weeks because I was forced to self-reflect after being hit with a really bad flu, after fasting through Ramadan and working 8 months in a restaurant job as a supervisor, getting destroyed, breaking my back for a company who didn't care about me. I finally realized after all of these things that this wasn't for me. It's not aligning with my values for the future. So I had to make a decision and go down to part-time and figure my life out. And alhamdulillah, I can't complain. It's going well. Many of you are lost, and you have to realize that just because your family and friends mean well, they don't actually do well for you. So if you find yourself in a path where you're just doing something because of an external reason, just know one day you're going to resent yourself so much, and it's going to end in 2 ways. One, you're going to have a midlife crisis and maybe end up negatively influencing your life on a way extreme level, like leaving your family or pursuing that business you always wanted when it was too late, maybe in your 50s, 40s, whatever it is. Or one day you might just say F it and just screw everyone and do what you want, but it's gonna cost you your relationships, it's gonna cost you your time, money. And that's what happened to me. When I turned 25 on my birthday, I finally self-reflected and realized, you know what? I'm gonna stop listening to all this outside noise. I'm gonna stop letting NPCs dictate who I am and what I should do, how I should behave. Don't be authentic, man, I hated being pretentious and just trying to I hated, I just hated trying to live up to everyone's expectations. You know what happened? Now I don't have any expectations. I have high standards for myself, but I don't expect anything out of it. And guess what? This is the happiest I've been mentally and physically. Like, I know it might not sound like it for my emotions, but the reason I'm making this video is because I know so many people like me who are struggling at a younger age, especially my cousins, my little brother. I see them get so much pressure from their parents, and they're doing all the right things. They're waking up early, they're going to the gym, they have $1 million habits. They have millionaire habits that 90% of the population are not even doing, and they're working towards something, towards their masculine core, towards their masculine desire to do something, and their parents are still putting pressure on them to do something completely different from who they actually are. So listen, bro, if there's something that you want to do, please self-reflect on it and ask yourself, are you doing it for you? Or are you doing it for your family? If you realize that you're doing something off someone else's expectations, then you have two options. One, if you think your parents are gonna understand you and actually have a conversation with you instead of just tell you what to do, then you can sit down with them and literally show them an action plan, step-by-step process of what you're gonna do week by week for a year for a desired outcome on your goal. If you don't think they're gonna understand you or treat you like an adult, then you need to do something on the side somehow, a side hustle that works towards something that will give you that exit route. So that way, when you do go to your parents and say, okay, I'm gonna do this, you're not gonna be screwed over. You're gonna have something, in the back end that you've been working on for such a long time. And here's another thing. If your parents are putting all these expectations on you, how could they expect you to be an adult if they're not treating you like an adult? If they're making your decisions for you, if they're telling you what to do, if they're putting this much pressure on you, are you really an adult thinking for yourself, or you're letting your parents think for you? Why don't you bring that point up to them? And bro, for your friends, a lot of you might care so much about what they're doing, what programs they're getting into, their grades. Everything like that is so external, it shouldn't harm you, bro. Who gives a shit, bro, if your friends are going to an engineering program that you're not? Who cares? Bro, if you need to take a semester off to get right mentally and physically and self-reflect, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, if I were to take a gap year at age 18 and was able to have that action plan with a goal in mind, then I would have done anything I can to get on that path. But here's the thing, many of us, if we don't have a clear path, we're gonna end up procrastinating and doing whatever we want. If you don't know what you wanna do, you just have to pick something that's aligned with your values and strengths. And if it doesn't work out, then at least I will redirect your life in a way where you can fulfill another purpose. And you just keep repeating that process until you get into the mission that you need to do. So for example, if you go to university and you take engineering and you realize it's not for you after 1 year, okay, and that was a decision that actually came from you as an 18-year-old, not your parents. Okay, then maybe you can redirect your life somewhere else after finally reflecting and seeing what you did wrong, and then maybe going to something else. For me, it took me maybe 8 different redirections to finally get into my own YouTube channel, my own business, and to be on the path I am now. And I have zero regrets. I have zero complaints. And that way, even if I fail, at least I tried. At least I did my very best, and I don't have that poison of regret and resentment towards myself and anyone around me. I will blame myself, and I'll go and do my backup plan, which I don't really have one right now, but there's always a backup plan in life. You'll always be okay, guys. So if you have the right mind and you have the mindset to grow and learn, you're gonna be fine. Don't stress, guys. That's all I have to say for today. But if you wanted to talk about this on a one-on-one free coaching call, I'll link it down below in the comment section and description box, and we can go through it more in depth.